We are now going to hear a few words from a lady who does come from Ithaca. Aliki Drakopoulos is the head of classics at Whitefriars School in Harrow. As I said, that is one of the schools which Classics for All supports, and she's going to tell us a little bit about, she and perhaps her pupils as well are going to tell us a little bit about what they're up to and what Classics for All does.
Right.
Aliki.
Thank you so much. We are really excited to be here and thank you so much for having us. We just wanted to explain a little bit about our school. And what it's about, how we started classics at our school. I've brought along some of my students, so we've got A-level students and GCSE students here studying classical civilization, so we're really excited to talk to you. So our school is called Whitefriars School. We are a brand new school in Harrow, Harrow Wealdstone to be precise. This is what our school looks like from above. So we're just going to give you a few facts so you can understand kind of where we are. So we're in the borough of Harrow, and Wealdstone, where we've circled right there, is where our school is. A bit of background about Wealdstone: we are in a quite deprived area, so a lot of it's very kind of cultural, a lot of mixed cultures, which is amazing. So it was quite interesting to bring in classics, and the whole like Roman Greco world is really interesting to some of our pupils. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So we are a state comprehensive school. We're an academy. We are a mixed school, so I know we've just got girls here today, but we are a mixed school, boys and girls. We're also an all-through school, so that means that we start off at nursery and go all the way up to sixth form. Because we're a new school and we started in July 2016, the current year 12s are actually our first sixth formers, so we haven't got year 13 yet. That will be next year. So we're kind of getting there, so our school is developing and growing as we speak. We have approximately 1,457 students, and that's including primary, all the way up to sixth form secondary. So quite a few students, and 74% of our students are EAL, which means they're English as an additional language. So English is not their first language. So that's quite a high percentage. And approximately 29% of our students are eligible for FSM, which means free school meals. So that just kind of puts things into perspective of our area and our students. But we have been rated outstanding by Ofsted, which is brilliant. So we do quite a lot of work to support our students in our community and our area. So we came here to talk to you about why classics and how we started classics at Whitefriars School. My background is, well, as you said, I'm from Ithaca myself, so Odysseus is very close to home. And I've grown up being involved in this ancient Greek world, and I was really interested in it, the mythology side of it, but also the history. And then I thought to myself, well, actually, a lot of students do like mythology, and the more I talked to our students, they have their own mythologies from their own countries, and just it was kind of fascinating to have a conversation about it. So we started off doing a Greek mythology club when I first started the school. So I teach French and Spanish, I should have said that. I teach French and Spanish, I'm a linguist with an interest in the classical world. So I started off with a Greek mythology club, and I saw that a lot of our kids really loved it. Then it became kind of Norse mythology club, and it became all these different mythologies, and I thought there's something here for our kids. And then as a linguist, I'm kind of a big fan of etymology as a Greek as well. I would like if I said that a lot of when a Greek word comes out, I'm like, oh, that's Greek. It's there. So when I started looking at how to develop our students' vocabulary, when you put a story to a word, they tend to remember it more. So then things started linking. I then researched Latin and classics and whether it was a thing. I didn't have the opportunity to do it when I was at school, and it was. So we reached out to Classics for All, but we'll talk about the support that they've given us in a minute. So how and when we started? So we started planning in February 2020, so we all know that was just pre-pandemic. But that actually helped me because it gave me more time to research how I can really plan this out for our students. So the first lockdown for me was actually great. I got to plan. But we started our first course in September 2020, and we started off with year 7, 8 and 9, Key Stage 3 kind of Latin and classics, 1 lesson a week, unfortunately, but also a good way to start. And then last year, kind of put out the call to see if anyone was interested in GCSE classical civilization and A-level classics. and they were. And they'll tell you a little bit about it in a minute. And you can see that we've got quite high numbers, so every student in Year 7, 8 and 9 is doing Key Stage, well, Latin and Classics. We have our first Year 10 class this year, also bringing up some students next year, 20 students. Next year will be 24 students in Classics for Year 11, and we've got our Year 12s here, so it's pretty great. And going on to Year 13 as well. Classics for All has been amazing. They have really supported us the whole way. And when we reached out in April 2020, they have been alongside us the whole time. So they've given me support, they've supported me with Latin training. Stephen Hunt came, some of you might know Stephen Hunt, he's brilliant, and he came to our school and supported myself and the other MFL teachers to teach Latin. The good thing is, as linguists, we understood of how to teach language, so it wasn't super difficult, but it's also really fun to learn a new skill. And Caroline Bristow came to our school and supported us with GCSE training and A-level training. So they've been absolutely phenomenal. They've provided us with bursaries for all resources in all key stages, and they have actually given us a bursary to go to take our students to the Roman Baths next year on a trip. So it's just fantastic, and we're all super excited. And the impact of our school with this is that, well, as I said before, they love learning mythology. So they're linking it to their own cultures and their own kind of history. So our discussions do get quite animated, but in a good way. We've also taken a school approach now on building literacy across the curriculum. So as I said, story of the word, we're building etymology in all the subjects, which is amazing. And we've also been able to embed a lot of classical things into other subject areas, so it's a very cross-curricular based subject for our school. And our new house system is based on the ancient cities. And actually, I've put the logos there because we're super proud to say that one of our sixth formers designed the logos himself. So we're building our school as we speak, like I said. It's pretty amazing. And I thought it'd be great for our students to give you a bit of what they think of classics and what they enjoy learning the most as well. So we've got Alexia, Anna Maria, Stefania, Renali and Delia here with us.
So the reason, why I started learning classics and how I actually got this interest was when I started doing a GCSE at history in Year 10 and Year 11. And Miss Drake actually came about with the subject classical civilization. And I was actually interested because I really liked studying history, especially ancient history. So while we were learning the different topics, we also got to realize how the ancient Greek civilization actually built our civilization right now, and how a lot of the things have changed throughout the years. But the main topic that I really enjoy in classics is actually the Greco-Persian Wars, because it also shows a very distinct side of the Persians and of the Greeks, and it also makes us realize that if the Greeks have won actually the battles between the Greeks, our world would have been extremely different, and we would have probably had different languages, different different cultures, different beliefs, as well as different religions, and everything would have been really changed. So that was really what I really liked.
So for me, classics has always been one of those subjects where you never quite get objective information. There's never concrete, so it's always up to interpretation. And you're able to draw your own conclusion and your own ideologies from different aspects of classics. For example, the Homeric question, that debate has been very prominent in the classical world. And I feel that with the small dichotomies that you can see in the Odyssey and the Iliad, you can make your own interpretation as to whether Homer did compose these poems by himself or had help from other people. And I feel that that was what sparked my interest into classical literature. Not only that, but another play that sparked my interest in classical literature is Euripides' Medea. This is because you really get to understand concepts of morality and law, and many philosophers like your TTs, you really see how in the ancient world, law and knowledge was something that was very important when judging someone. He defends Medea, and because she lacks knowledge. She lacks the knowledge of how it would feel to murder her sons. She lacks that concept of consequence, in a way. And even in our world today, like Alexia was saying, it's been shaped by classical origins. So I feel like we have the responsibility to learn about our own origins and how our own society has been built on concepts from the ancient world.
Having done classics at GCSEs, we started with the mythical and religion side of it, and it built a foundation of actually understanding classics and how it has shaped our modern world. I think it's really important to see how far we've come as in terms of like society because of the ancient civilizations, and how far my favourite part of actual classics that we've done this year was the Amazonites, because you see the women's side of the thing, which is not very spoken or shown in, should I say, some parts of classics. And I think it's so important to see how far women have come because they've been suppressed throughout history, and how they continue to fight and make a name for themselves, which allows us to just carry on and keep fighting for equality. And I think doing classics as well as GCSEs has helped with not only classics but history, and it branches out to like science and mathematics, and it's just so cool to see how far it actually is embedded into the curriculum as a whole.
Learning classics has sparked a genuine interest of mine into the architecture of the ancient world, which has then also influenced my GCSE artwork, which I am quite proud of and I would like to take further.
And the last slide for us is, from me actually, is what comes next. So we haven't stopped here. We're still developing not just our school, as I said, but our Latin and Classics curriculum. So we plan on introducing Latin at GCSE next year or the year after. We're going to try and get 2 lessons a week of Latin at Classics at GCSE. That is the aim. And I'm really excited to say that our department is growing. So it's becoming an actual department in our school. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to us.